It's that time of the year again, people! Although E3 has fallen and will certainly not be getting back up, June still remains a very big month for video game announcements. Summer Game Fest is right around the corner, and Nintendo has already announced a Direct for the month of June. Now, at the time of this recording, no date has been set for that Direct, but I still wanted to talk about what we might see in it anyways. I'm categorizing these predictions into 3 different groups: rumors, guesses, and wishes. Each prediction will be labeled on a video and text will be shown in a corresponding color to the category because I'm extra like that. First up, however, I want to remind everyone of the statement that Nintendo put out. The games in the June Direct will all be on the Nintendo Switch, and nothing about the Switch's successor will be mentioned in the Direct, according to a tweet by Nintendo President Furukawa. So because of that, there will be nothing in this video about Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo. This is only about games for the June 2024 Nintendo Direct. Let's jump in. First up, we have rumors. I'm considering anything that has been allegedly leaked or is being highly speculated as being a rumor, so that will be included in this segment. Prominent Nintendo leaker Midori has shared several rumors about 2 Mario games that have been in the works with the codenames Silver Star and SP Red. According to this tweet, Silver Star could possibly be a sequel to Mario Odyssey, but its development status is currently unknown, meaning it could have simply existed at some point, then have gotten cancelled. The other game is fairly unknown, except it will have something to do with Mario. Given that the codename for this project is SP Red, with Red almost always referring to Mario traditionally when looking at Nintendo codenames for their projects, we can guess that maybe this stands for Super Mario? Star Power Mario? There's definitely options. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to an Odyssey sequel, despite opinions about the game turning relatively sour over the last few years for some reason. I think an Odyssey sequel is definitely possible still, even if development has halted on it for the time being. We don't know its status at the moment, so while it's easy to suggest that maybe it's been cancelled, there's always the possibility that it hasn't. But with that being said, I do not think we will see it at the Direct in June. I think if we do see it, it will be on the next system, but with the tiny little caveat that Nintendo loves to surprise us, so I mean, is it technically possible? Yeah. Is it likely? No, not at all. Not likely at all. Honestly, it's really hard to say like if Nintendo can or will do something, because Nintendo constantly surprises us. They constantly just throw curveballs. So I'm never gonna say something's impossible. Just unlikely. With regards to SP Red, I think this could be literally anything dealing with the Red Plumber himself. Mario Wonder just came out fairly recently, so I'm a little hesitant to guess it's a 2D Mario platformer. A spin-off would seem more likely, but I also know Nintendo is famous for just doing things that are very unpredictable, like I mentioned earlier. Part of me is curious if they just had so much for Mario Wonder that they felt like they could make another game from some of the scrapped ideas. Wonder did sell extremely well, with an estimated 12 million plus copies sold as of February 2024. So do I think SP Red will be at the Direct? I have no idea, because all we have is a name. But it could happen. Anything could happen. We don't know how far either of these games are, or if they're still even in production for at least one of them, so kind of hard to guess if they'll be there. I'm leaning towards no, though. We really don't know much, we just have names. If I had to guess, if Odyssey 2 still exists, I really do feel like it will be a launch title for Switch 2. I just feel like any big name, big name, like a 3D Mario, I feel like that's just gonna be Switch 2. I feel like we're not gonna see that at the Direct. I'd honestly probably even bet money on it if I was a gambling kind of person. I'm not. Probably good for my wallet. Anyways, probably no Silver Star or SP Red for June. Moving on to more rumors, Midori has also claimed there will be a title related to the anime Bleach that will launch on the Switch. This did get confirmed about 24 hours later, with the title being a port of Bleach Brave Souls, which as I understand is a gacha mobile game. This is entirely likely to make some sort of appearance at the Direct, I would think. Midori has also leaked the information that the newly released Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake will also be at the Direct. There are also various rumors that we will see a Sonic sports game, with the leading rumors being a soccer or tennis game. There is also a rumor about a Sonic Heroes remake, which feels a little less likely, but I will be absolutely overjoyed if that turns out to be true. There are also rumors about Metroid Prime 2 and 3 having remasters releasing soon that won't be as polished as the first game's remaster, but will likely nonetheless sell pretty well, I would imagine, if this does turn out to be true. This does feel pretty likely, probably especially for this Direct, since I predict we'll see a lot of remasters this go around. A Fire Emblem remake has also been rumored, with many people speculating it'll be a remake of Fire Emblem and the genealogy of the Holy War. I absolutely could see this one happening. Fire Emblem, it feels like it's about time, even though it kind of also feels like Engage came out not too terribly long ago. Fire Emblem Engage is allegedly a game that sat on the shelf completed for a while. It is entirely likely that Intelligent Systems has had a while to work on another game, and we could see a teaser for it very soon. Some people have also been speculating that since there is now going to be a Donkey Kong section added to Super Nintendo World, a Donkey Kong game is probably underway. It has been a heck of a long time since Tropical Freeze released, so this feels like it could be very much in the Direct. The only downside, if this does happen, I would be surprised if it was Retro Studios who was making it, considering that they're working on Metroid Prime 4. They do have a suspiciously long gap of no games coming out in their work history, but I'd be very surprised if that was suddenly filled by a Tropical Freeze sequel. Retro Studios has done traditionally just an amazing job with the Donkey Kong series, so I'm a little hesitant to see it go to another studio, but hey, it doesn't have to be a disaster, even if it's somebody else making the game. So, to recap. Despite the alleged leaks about an Odyssey 2 and a Mario game existing or having existed at some point, I don't think we'll see them at the Direct. If we do see them at the Direct, they are definitely going to also be on Switch 2. I do think the genealogy of the Holy War remake could happen. I see that as very likely. If not that, then we will get another Fire Emblem. I think a Tropical Freeze sequel could also definitely be on the docket as well. I think Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remasters will happen, and I think a Sonic sports game will also probably happen, if anything, just to spite me. Guesses. As for more educated guesses without rumor backup, here's what I'd like to predict. I very much think it's possible we could see a first-party Nintendo IP left fielder. One that nobody saw coming. Nintendo has recently established a new trend of holding games back from release until they need something to fill their schedule out a bit better. We saw this with Fire Emblem Engage, which was allegedly completed long before it was officially released. There's been an ongoing rumor that both Metroid Prime Remastered and the Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake both sat fully completed for almost a year, just waiting for release on a shelf. It's entirely possible Nintendo has more of these launches up their sleeves. With that being said, given we're so close to the end of the Switch's lifespan, I think the Direct will be fairly mild. So when I say left fielder, I don't necessarily mean a 3D Mario or a 3D Zelda. I think it's going to be something that's a first-party Nintendo game that just nobody saw coming. It'll just be a surprise. It won't be a huge heavy hitter, but it'll be nice. And we'll all be happy. With that being said, what are some of these left fielders that could possibly happen? I mean, it's a left fielder, so it's hard to predict what a left fielder is going to be. If I had to make an educated guess, I have a thought. Very dangerous. I know. A bit of background about this. Bandai Namco has recently formed a studio specifically for developing commissioned projects, which the top guess for who they are accepting projects from is Nintendo. Bandai Namco, and Namco prior to the merger, has a history of working on many Nintendo games in the past, including, but definitely not limited to, Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Star Fox Assault, ARMS, and new Pokemon Snap. There are some really good videos out there about this studio under Bandai Namco. I would recommend checking out the Good Vibes Gaming one posted back in November 2023. Basically, what we can gather from looking at the portfolio of the studio that has been formed and looking at the job listings, it seems they are working on a Nintendo project that is a remaster of a 3D action game. So, you're probably wondering, what 3D action game could they be working on? Well, if you know me, you know exactly where this is going. My first and very much biased guess is Star Fox Assault. This makes sense for several reasons. We are currently in an era where Nintendo is remaking GameCube games for IPs that are less successful, such as Pikmin, Paper Mario, and Metroid. While these IPs are very beloved, they do not have the status of Legend of Zelda or Mario, for instance. They had really good games made back in the GameCube era that were solid, but exist too far back into the past to be as accessible by some of the younger gamers. I actually think remastering GameCube era games is a fairly smart move on Nintendo's part, as it reignites interest in older games and gives them a fresh layer of paint, so to speak. I think that's why we see these remasters happening particularly before a new sequel for that series comes out. They want to spark interest, and remastering typically seems less cumbersome than building a new game from scratch. I'm not a game dev though, so I can't confirm if that's true, but that's the general impression that I get. Star Fox had 2 games for the GameCube. Adventures, which was made by Rareware, and Assault, which was developed by Namco. Assault has often been quoted as the best natural direction for Star Fox to go by many fans, and is considered to be pretty well liked. Star Fox Assault can also be described as a 3D action game. I am also extremely biased, and I hope Star Fox gets more chances to be loved by fans. There is also one more very striking piece of evidence that I believe that Star Fox will have a game revealed very, very soon, be it a remaster of Assault like I predict, or a new game entirely. Take this next bit with a grain of salt. Speculation on Reddit and various forums has begun stirring about a Star Fox game coming soon after it was discovered that Nintendo recently made a filing to the World Intellectual Property Organization in November 2023. When I personally went to check the WIPO database, I did find that there was a filing as new as this past week for the Star Fox IP under Class 41. I'm no expert on this, but after searching to see what Class 41 means, I found that it included online gaming services. I also found filings for Star Fox recently in various countries all across the globe, starting in late 2023, that also included Class 9 and Class 28 filings. Again, I'm no expert, but what I gathered was that the Class 9 filings include software, so video games, and the Class 28 filings include things such as toys. As far as I could tell after looking through very messy IP filings, it is not a very organized database. I think the last time we had a big trademark filing for Star Fox was 2018, which would be when Starlink Battle for Atlas was launched. Obviously, this should all be taken with some level of skepticism, but all the information I have seen points towards a potential Star Fox Assault remaster, or at least a new Star Fox game. The filings could have been made to protect the IP, and obviously the classes 9 and 28 and 41, they have more within them than just what I stated, so I would give a big recommendation to you all if you are wanting to look into that, to just go to the database yourself and see. I'm gonna predict that we will have a Star Fox game revealed in the June Direct. It will either be a new game or Star Fox Assault. I think it will actually probably be Star Fox Assault, but I'm not going to discount it being a new game entirely. Despite people claiming that Star Fox has had games on the Switch, with the formal release of Star Fox 2 and Starlink having Star Fox DLC and a little add-on, Star Fox has, in reality, had no new games since the Wii U's Star Fox Zero. Now, I could go on for ages about that game, but that's best served for a separate video. I have always felt Zero was doomed to fail given the Wii U's abysmal numbers, and the game itself had really controversial controls, and that didn't help at all. The Switch is truly the perfect system to give Star Fox another chance. So I think we could see that chance happening very soon. Just a side note, I was tempted to put the Star Fox guess under rumors, but I felt like the nature of the guess was more based off of observing things happening versus leaks or purely just rumors, so I chose to put it in this category instead. If that feels unfair, I do apologize. But on a more serious note, Star Fox Assault feels like a likely candidate with the current climate of Nintendo remastering GameCube era games. So I'm gonna put Star Fox Assault HD Remastered as a June direct prediction. If you're worried about lengthy ramblings for the other guesses, don't be. We all know I hyperfixate really hard on the space furries. It's just how we roll here. When it comes to these next guesses, they're really just me guessing things that I could see happening. They're semi-educated. The wish section is where we're gonna go off the rails a bit. I foresee quite a few remakes, actually. I feel like we're in the section of the Switch's lifespan where we won't see any heavy hitters, but we may see them experimenting a little bit. I already talked about Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I also still believe that we could see a Pokemon Black and White remake. I know we're all still kind of burned by the Gen 4 ones, and we kind of moved on from thinking Black and White could get remakes after Pokemon Day, but I just wouldn't count those out just yet. Speaking of Pokemon, Pokemon Legends ZA, is that what we're calling it? ZA could be present at the Direct. We could see a bigger trailer for it, or at least that's what I'm hoping, because the last time we got some cinematics and that was nice. It would be cool to see a little bit of gameplay, I think. I think in terms of other remakes I want to predict, I'm gonna go with a 2D Zelda remake. I know several people have also been wanting remakes of Oracle of Ages and Seasons in particular, and I definitely would love that. Especially if it's in the Link's Awakening style, I think that'd be really good. If not those two games, then a Link to the Past remake would be really cool to see. Do I think it's likely? Not sure personally, but I'm putting it down as a guess. We do have a Zelda movie in the works, so maybe more Zelda is likely, even if the movie is kind of far away from now. Sadly, I do not think we will see Metroid Prime 4 in this Direct, as I am pretty sure this title has been moved purely to Switch 2. If we do see it, it'll be a game that releases much like Breath of the Wild did and release on both Switch 1 and Switch 2. Nintendo likes giving us random Mario sports games, so I would not be surprised if one of those showed up. I'm also not familiar with Professor Layton, but I wouldn't be surprised to see his new game in there somewhere. I foresee some sort of update for NSO, but carrying on the recent trend, I think it'll be more games that are very hit or miss. Not adding mainline Pokemon games on there feels like a super missed opportunity, and I'd love to see that change over the years, but we'll see. Don't get too excited over this next bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if Silksong makes an appearance here. However, I don't know if we'll get a release date during the Switch Direct or somewhere else like Summer Game Fest, but I could see it showing up maybe in one of those quickly they show just a little bit of a game. Oh, look, there's Silksong, everyone freaks out, and then they move on to another game. If I recall right, I think we had an abundance of farming sims and JRPGs over the past few Directs, so it's entirely likely we get more of those or updates on those. If those are your cup of tea, I'm very happy for you. If not, well, we all go through droughts of not getting the games we want announced, so there's always next time. I know some of these guesses are not too terribly wild, but that's because I want to emphasize that I think this Direct is going to be fairly safe with a little bit of left fielding here and there from IPs that they are testing the waters with. I know we're all itching for the next big title, and I'd be very surprised if a big title got dropped right before Switch 2's big trailer. I think overall people will find this Direct to be very average, and mostly remakes or remasters with a lot of third-party games in there. People online will probably yell about it, although that's kind of a given regardless of how good a Direct is. So, to recap, I think we're gonna get Star Fox Assault Remaster, or just a new Star Fox game, updates on already known games, a 2D Zelda remake, a very well-meaning NSO update, a teaser for a Black and White remake, very bare bones if it happens at all, and maybe more Pokemon Legends ZA. I think that's what we're gonna get. Hello everybody, Editor Amalia here. They finally freed me from YouTube short hell. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to be here on the big screen. Just a bit of a brief aside, I wanted to let you know that this video was written and recorded on May 31st and May 30th. I think both of those days were when I made this video. Basically, since then there's been a lot more that has come out in terms of leaks, especially stuff related to Zelda. I want you guys to know that I know about that. That all just came out after I wrote and recorded this video. And we were really far into the editing process. We were basically done by the time that all of that came out. And I thought about rewriting and re-recording the whole video, but that proved just to be way too much for me. I'm a pretty busy dragon, right? I'm a pretty busy dragon. So I decided just put in this little aside and just let you know that this was all recorded before a lot of that came out, and I'm very aware of that. I didn't want to change anything, and nothing has been changed other than just me adding this little bit in here to let you guys know that the video is a little dated, even on release. Slightly though. These were my guesses and are my wishes. Today, for instance, is June 2nd. At the time of me adding this little bit in, I plan to release this video, I hope, June 4th. So even by then, there could be even more stuff, and that's just kind of the nature of things right now. At some point, you have to just have to stop editing the video and just release the video. Even if a bunch of new stuff comes out between you making the video and you releasing the video. That's really it. Let's continue the video. Wishes. This is where we get a little crazy with it. If I had to wish for something every direct, it would be for a Star Fox Adventures remake that includes the cut content from Dinosaur Planet. That's my ultimate pie in the sky dream. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime, and if it does, it's probably not soon, but I'm still gonna wish for it. Over anything, I want a new Star Fox game, but I think that's pretty obvious from this video. I'd prefer something that mixed adventures and assaults gameplay personally with the sleekness of Star Fox 64's Arwing gameplay added in, but that's my personal preference. Something that carries on the idea of Star Fox 2 would also be definitely welcome, as that's one of my favorite games personally. We talked about Fire Emblem earlier, and I think my major wish for that series is a bundle remake of Fire Emblem 6 and 7. A lot of people know Roy from Super Smash Bros., and I'd love to see them get better acquainted with Roy and his world by re-releasing his games. Or rather, the game that he's from, and its prequel. F-Zero always feels like it's on my wish list, not really because I personally love F-Zero, but because I feel bad for the fans. After F-Zero 99, it kind of feels like the interest was gauged by Nintendo, and I'm under the impression that it was a hit. It seems like it did well upon release. Maybe they'll take it as a sign to make more F-Zero games. I'm huffing hopium for the F-Zero fans, don't mind me. More content for Splatoon 3 would be a dream for me personally as well. The pass added Side Order, which was definitely a good experience, despite its lack of an ending, I felt. But I really do feel like Splatoon still has a lot to give as a game. Some way to play the campaigns of Splat 1 and 2 within Splat 3 would be very welcome, but I don't see that happening, even with Splatoon 1 servers being shut down. But I can still wish. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD on Switch feels like it must be on my wish list because I adore both of those games tremendously, and I just really hope one day they will be on Switch. I do wish for a Pokemon Black and White remake, but I wish for it in a selfish way that's not like the Gen 4 remakes, and that has a bit more of a Legends influence about it, and that includes a bundle that also has Black 2 and White 2, which is extremely pie in the sky, I know. But it's my wish list, so I can wish for it if I want it. And you know what else I want? Pokemon Coliseum. A remaster or a new one. Yes, just give me both. I want them right now, please. I'd also love an NSO update that brings more to the NSO expansion. Banjo-Kazooie was great, but where's Tooie? Where's Diddy Kong Racing? It feels like those should already be on there, so if they were added, that'd be great. Also, they should just like bring Kid Icarus back and give me Kirby Air Ride 2 or something. I've been waiting for a while. I don't really have the emotional energy to wish for something like a new Pokemon generation. I would rather them spend their time, just take all the time you need for that. Let it cook. let it cook. But really, I mean, every time I go into a direct, I have some wishes. I know a lot of them are not very feasible, but I just hope for the best. So consider my last wish just a nice direct. I feel like that's not too much to ask for. That about wraps it up for rumors, guesses, and wishes. I definitely don't foresee all of those games that I said are likely to be in the direct to actually be in the direct, but I think each has a fair shot. Overall, I kind of feel like this direct is going to be very mild. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. That's been known to happen before, me being wrong. So what do you think? What rumors did you find interesting? What guesses do you have? What do you wish for? Let me know in the comments. Or don't, but I'd prefer it if you did. Thanks for watching. Now, I'm gonna go write my 80th letter to Miyamoto about why I think he should let me write the next Star Fox game. Bye!